Hey, what is going on, you Pug Pat and Pyro? Today, playing some games with Eternatus, and I think Eternatus is actually in a pretty good spot right now. Not only does it have a good matchup against the most popular and best deck in the format, Mew VMAX, but it actually holds its own pretty well up against most other things, and that is a big thanks to actually the Galarian Weezing. Let's take a look at the list a little bit more before I talk too much about Weezing. So 4-3 Eternatus, a little bit lighter on the Eternatus line than I would like, but we're trying to fit a couple different things in here, and it makes it hard to get that 4-4 Eternatus maxed out alongside 4 Evolution Incense. We only have 3 of those as well, and then the 4 Great Ball, 4 Quick Ball, of course, as our other Pokemon search. 4 Crobat, of course, always a staple in the Eternatus VMAX. A couple Moltres and a couple E-Switch to get that energy moving around combo to help deal with like Crushing Hammer or Phantom Waves, or just to like put energy in a spot where our opponent thought we couldn't get it, and then we get to pull off a pretty cool or sick play. And also just attacking with Moltres with the Aura Burn is also pretty good. One Zigzagoon in here. I'll get to why we actually only play one Zigzagoon in a second, but let's talk about the Weezing. So we got Weezing here, a 3-3 line of Weezing. I play a 3-3 because I just want to be able to like consistently get out two of them when I need throughout the game. So we don't always use 2-2. Sometimes we use none. Sometimes we can just like pop off with a turn, just turn 2, and just kind of sweep a game with like one Eternatus VMAX. But sometimes, and a lot of times, our opponents will get out their own VMAX Pokemon. And VMAXs have more than 270 HP, which is what Dread End does for damage. And in those situations, we need to find some extra damage somewhere. And that comes from Weezing with the Severe Poison. So not only can we switch or retreat with Hiding Energy from Eternatus into Weezing, or even open up with Weezing attacking into our opponent's VMAX and do, 40 poison damage, which gets our opponent's VMAX Pokemon down to usually 270 or 280. And if it's at 280, that's where the Zigzagoon comes in place. Sometimes they take the poison damage back and forth between turns, which is great, but sometimes they don't. And they take that 40 going into their turn, they switch the VMAX around, bring it back to the active, and attack with it then, or even leave it on the bench and we have to go chase it later to KO it. And sometimes it is a 320 HP, VMAX, like a Ice Rider or something like that. So then we need that Zigzagoon ping to help us get it down to 270, where our turns can get the one-hit KO. But sometimes it's like a Jolteon VMAX, where it only has 300 HP, so we poison it once, and boom, it's in range. So not only does Weezing do that for us with the Severe Poison, but it's got the neutralizing gas, and a lot of the VMAX decks play Inteleon alongside them. Some of them don't, but some of them are like Single Strike, or Single Strike actually still has abilities in the deck, or even Mew. And even that deck has a ton of abilities, of course. So when we have a rocky start, or we want to slow down what our opponent's doing on their side of the field, sometimes we still go open up with the early Weezing against the Mew matchup. And specifically in the Single Strike matchup, we can use Weezing to take knockouts and then shut down the Houndooms on our opponent's side of the field so that they can't actually reset up a new attacker. But more commonly up against Inteleon decks like the Ice Rider or something like a Jolteon, we can use the neutralizing gas to shut off their Drizziles, and we can go a step further and we can combo when we attack with Weezing and play Marnie on the same turn to not only disrupt them from locking out their abilities, but also disrupt the hand they had set up previously to maybe help them combat the Weezing. Now all those cards are on the bottom of the deck, and they're getting 4 random cards to work with to help them get through and deal with the Weezing that's now in the active. And sure, they might knock out the Weezing, but we don't really care if they knock out the Weezing. The Weezing is there to slow them down for a turn, get damage in play to set up the 2-hit KO for our Eternatus VMAX, and then get knocked out. And if it doesn't get knocked out, that's better, but it usually gets knocked out, and that's fine. And yeah, that's really the combo there. That's why Weezing's in the deck, and it combos super well with Marnie, and then goes very smoothly into a Dread End on the following turn. So I've been loving this Eternatus build. Tried it out a ton on the stream the other day. This is the list that I've come to so far. As far as the stadiums go, we got 3 Galarian Mine and 1 Training Core. I just wanted a different stadium in the deck that I could use to bump my own Galarian Mine, just to keep things flowing a little bit better when we don't play up against a Path to the Peak deck where we really hold the stadiums conservatively, because in those matchups we're holding onto the stadiums for as long as we can to make sure we have as many outs to Path to the Peak as possible. But in other matchups, we want to be a little bit more just aggressively playing down our stadiums. So that's what we got. Galarian Mines, you can throw those out, and then I can, like, if we have a Galarian Mine in play, I can put a Training Court in play, and then next turn put a Galarian Mine in play over the Training Court, and just kind of make the deck flow a little bit better. We don't get these cards too clogged in the hand and reduce our Crobat draws. So I went with like a 3-1 split here. And the Training Court's been nice to recover energy, so I like that as well. But yeah, that's the list. Like I said, tried out a ton on the stream the other day. I stream every day except Tuesdays, except for gonna be taking a holiday break coming up here for a little bit. But I'll be back next Monday. So stream will be back next Monday after this Thursday. But check it out. Check out the stream, twitch.tv/AzulGG. First link in the description. Usually every day except Tuesdays. Let's go ahead and let's get into some games. If you guys enjoy the video, give it a like. If you enjoy the content and you're new here, be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell. Let's get into it. All right, we got some options in this opening hand. We got the Draw Supporter and then a Quick Ball and some energy. So we actually have a pretty good opening hand. We are up against a Single Strike deck probably here, as my opponent opens the Gengar, but a pretty slow start from my opponent. How do I want to handle this one? I think we're going to go Quick Ball, the Dark Energy, grab an Eternatus V, attach a hiding energy to the Eternatus V, and then I almost don't want to. I have the Evolution Incense here, so I could just Evolution Incense for the VMAX next turn. Definitely should do this. I almost forgot to use the Dire Flame Wings there. Definitely don't want to forget that. I kind of just don't want to Marnie them, to be honest, so I might just wait. I might. I don't really want to. They don't have any Houndowers in the hand. I don't want to give them Houndowers, and I have the VMAX here. I'm gonna go. I kind of want to be able to knock this out next turn, though. So I think we're going to Marnie. All right, we're going to go with the Marnie. I don't know if this is the correct play, to be honest. And some more options wouldn't be bad either. I don't like the idea of getting more options here. We don't want to put any more V's in play, but I wouldn't hate the idea of getting down a Coughing. And there's the Coughing, but there's also the VMAX. So I think I value the VMAX option a little bit more highly here. So we're going to grab that. I'll quick ball away this. I'll get a Coughing now. Yeah, I don't want to put any more V's in play because otherwise it could go to the VMAX and they could actually knock out some stuff. So I want the option of the Weezing, or Weezing I should say. And if the Great Ball, yeah, because the Great Ball hit the VMAX there, I'm going to grab the VMAX. But if it had only hit Coughing or Crobat, I would have grabbed that and then Quick Ball for the other. Or if the Great Ball had hit the Coughing, I would have just only benched the Coughing. But because it finds the VMAX there, I definitely highly value, getting our bench opened up by getting the what's it called, the Eternal Zone ability in play. I definitely value that really highly. We don't want to get stuck with like that smaller bench that completely limits our options later on. So I really value getting that ability online, especially when we're going to get more aggressive and like put a bunch of V's in play anyways. Ideally early on here we do want to play that a little bit slower and not put down too many V Pokemon, like I said, because when we can play around the VMAX's Fear and Panic, we want to do that even if it's only for like a turn or two. And don't give them that extra option to work with. Because now this turn, because they didn't have any Houndowers down on the first turn, is going to be a lot slower from my opponent. And here comes that Fear and Panic. But if I had benched like one more V Pokemon, all of a sudden they knock out this Moltres. But instead they're only doing, 160 damage. So I guess there's a lot more space to work with here. And we'll see what we'll be able to do into this thing. I could poison it with the Weezing. Like I said, that would be a pretty good play. But generally, we actually want a Weezing after we hit it. We want to hit first with the Eternatus for like maximum damage ideally. In the current situation, maybe we'll have to go with like a smaller hit. Yeah, we could even just hit for like 90 and then look to open up our bench on the next turn. So if we can get like a switch or another hiding energy plus E-switch, we just hit for like 90 here with the Dread End. I mean, we'll see what we get off the Marnie, I guess. That's going to be the biggest thing here. I got a Great Ball to start with first. A Weezing would be great. A Weezing is what we find. But poisoning them would also be pretty good, to be honest. Poisoning them wouldn't be bad. I'm gonna go with this, and then yeah, Marnie, see what we get. Like I said, switch plus E-switch or switch plus energy. Ooh, I have to Crobat here if we actually want to do anything, to be honest. We're gonna have to Crobat here if we want to get anything cooking. We need an E-switch or a switch, so both of those options are available to us. I don't want to put down too many V Pokemon. If I put down 4, be 240. It's already doing 250 anyway, so I think I can put down 4 here. So we can go like this, Ping the active, and then I'm gonna Quick Ball the Great Ball. Yeah, we're gonna put down 4 and end up putting down 4 here. They still can't KO my VMAX. Well, if they had all 4, yeah, even with all 4 single strike energy, I don't think they can KO my VMAX. I'm gonna Crobat first, and if we get the E-switch combo is still alive, so if we get switch or E-switch, we got the switch, so we can just go with the switch combo here. We can even Quick Ball away and energy, I think, to go get ourselves another energy in play on the Moltres. So I can Quick Ball away this basic Dark, grab a Crobat for next turn, so we can accelerate another energy here. I guess that was also an out that we had, to be honest. And then attach this here, use the Dire Flame Wings. I could hard retreat actually and keep the switch, but I think I'm gonna use the switch just so I have the option of the Aura Burn sooner than later. Switch. I don't want to bench any more Vs, like I said. Don't want to put the Trading Card in play. Want to have that as a counter stadium. I could play this to get the VMAX right now, but I don't really want to put 2 VMAXs in play because then my opponent can kind of focus down 2 VMAXs and win the game that way. So we're going to get this hit off. 190 damage onto the Gengar VMAX. Like I said, a 4 single strike energy, I don't think is enough. I thought I did the math correctly. That's plus 80. No, wait, that's just enough. Oh, all right. So 4 single strike energy actually is just enough for my opponent to get the KO with the G-Max Swallow Up. But they do have to draw into one of those first because they only have 1 Houndour in play. So So they can't go double Houndoom knockout, and we don't just lose the game if they do get that knockout. We have a follow-up of probably with the Aura Burn actually to KO this, and then we're going to look to set up another Eternatus VMAX from there, and yeah, that'll probably be our game plan. For some reason, I thought they were going to be 10 short, but the Vitality Band actually does get them there. So maybe I wasn't including the Vitality Band in my math when I was doing it in my head, but I thought I was. I thought I did include the Vitality Band in my head there. I guess I didn't. So forgot to include the Vitality Band in my head in the math I was doing. So yeah, my opponent does get the knockout here if they find all 4 single strike energy, but that is still a little bit of a tall order. I feel like they said they have to draw into one, and they need the Houndoom, and that's going to be the hardest part. Is they have to draw into one first and then get the Houndoom. If they have not prized the single strike energy, that's also something that could come up. They could prize a single strike energy. Oof. And with this kind of draw that we just got here, we're definitely going to need my opponent to whiff, to be honest. Like, this is just not a good hand at all. My opponent whiffing would be nice. It'd be nice if my opponent whiffed here. Definitely would be nice. They got another Houndour out, but it looks like, I mean, they're not playing too aggressively. I think they probably did whiff here. So we can get this knockout with the Dread End on the Gengar VMAX. And then from there, I don't actually know where we're going to end up going. We don't have a whole ton of options in the hand, as you can see, just a couple boss. But if we're looking to knock out their active, those aren't very good. Don't really want to put another Eternatus V in play, because I don't want to set up my opponent's next Gengar VMAX's Fear and Panic to do too well. I don't want that thing to kind of take over the game. We've already like done really well about limiting this one to not being too ridiculously strong. My opponent, no, they've attached here, so they don't have it. And I was like, they might still have it actually, but no, they got the Houndoom. They already attached here, so they don't have that 4th single strike energy to get the knockout here. So they can't get the knockout this turn. They have to settle for a 2-hit KO on my VMAX here. And that puts us in a pretty good spot. We can knock out this, and then we can even look for like boss to win the game, as long as we can get enough energy in play, which we currently do not have. We currently do not have enough energy in play to go for a boss game plan. But we do have a Crobat prized, so if we can get that off the prize cards, that would help us set that up. And energy off the top deck is also very nice. The question really is, where do I want to put it? I guess I don't want to go with a VMAX yet, so I guess I do want it here. Yeah, I don't want to set up another VMAX. So yeah, it has to go here. I'm getting dinged again. And then we're going to go with the Dread End for the knockout. Or I could retreat knockout with the Moltres even. No. We should just go Dread End knockout here, I think. Yeah, it seems fine. Yeah, that should be fine. I think I'm okay with that. Dread End knockout. Get a couple more cards. So a couple energy off the prize cards is okay. Coughing is also okay. Nothing great there, to be honest. We definitely wanted some other options. Not a huge fan of those options. Yeah, we definitely would like something else. The energy is okay. Crobat would have been good. Our hand is looking a little clunky now as well. Do not like the state of our hand at all. Definitely looking a little bit clunky. But we can get a knockout next turn with the Moltres. I could have attacked with Moltres this turn, but then if my opponent boss KOs the Eternatus, I can't attack with the Moltres again, because then it would knock itself out. So I think it's correct to kind of wait and use Moltres next turn, and either we'll KO this Gengar V, but if it becomes a VMAX, we could just hit it and then clean it up later on, or we could go with a boss play. But it looks like we might be able to just go hit this, and then look to boss that up the turn after and knock it out. But our hand currently doesn't have anything as well, so we might want to boss this turn, take a knockout on the Crobat, try and get that Crobat out of the prize cards, and then we'll have some more draw power to work with to set up another Eternatus VMAX, which then we can use that VMAX to actually KO something a little bit bigger and kind of put us back in this game. But we'll see what our top deck is as well. We'll send up the Moltres initially, see what our top deck is, and then kind of decide which route we want to go down depending on what the top deck is. Yeah, depending on what the top deck is, could definitely change how we want to approach our next turn. We could even just go for a poison on this with Weezing. I wouldn't hate that either. And with the Weezing in the active, my opponent actually can't set up another attacker unless they boss around the Weezing. So we know for sure that they'd have to boss on the following turn. So I'll set up the Moltres. It has that hiding energy on it, so it has that free retreat cost right now. Really gives us a nice pivot to work with. And we have a couple options here on how we want to approach this. And I think it'll all come down to what the top deck is. Another Moltres. So I think going for the knockout on the Crobat here is going to be best, just to give us let us see some more cards, to be honest. Because hitting the active I don't think is going to lead to, well, could it? Oh my gosh, I'm getting dinged again. Attach here. We could, well, no, actually attacking the active might work out here. We could bench this. How much would I do here? Attach to the Moltres, and then hit the active. And then we have game in hand if they KO my active. And if they don't KO my active, we could just go to sudden death, to be honest. We could just choose to go to sudden death, and I think that would be really interesting and a cool route to take. So I wouldn't mind going that route either, to be honest. Like, if my opponent has the boss KO on this Moltres, I'm down to go to sudden death. So we'll leave it up to my opponent here, kind of, and see if they want to, yeah, go to sudden death. If they retreat to something else, we have the boss KO. If they KO this, the KO are active and Marnie. No, we can basically, yeah, if the KO are active, I guess we don't go to sudden death, right? If the KO are active, we were not going to go to sudden death here. So for us to go to sudden death here, my opponent has to have the boss KO on this Moltres. And then we can take this one to sudden death by getting the KO with this, but we'll also knock ourselves out at the same time. So we'll both go to 0 prize cards at the same time, leading to a sudden death situation. So we'll see if my opponent, what they have here, to be honest, and if they get that route, they definitely should be eyeing up the KO on this Moltres, because this is how I win the game next turn. They should be aware of that. If I have boss KO on this Gengar VMAX, I do win the game. So they should be very aware of that and know that that's kind of my route to win the game. So they're probably very aware. If they are very aware of that, they're going to want to KO this Moltres, because like on board, that is like my immediate way to win the game. Even like we see it in my hand, but my opponent should also like be aware of that just by looking at the board state. They should be aware that that Moltres, second Moltres, is my route to victory here. So if they have the boss, they can take it out. We can go to sudden death, which would be super sick. But if not, they're going to KO our active, and then we'll just have the boss game on the next turn, which to be honest is also kind of fine. We get to win the game, which is nice. I don't mind winning the game, but winning it in a sudden death would be a lot cooler. So I'm rooting for this sudden death. I hope my opponent does not, or does have the boss KO here. We'll see. Also, by us not opening up a bench space by KOing the Crobat, this is something I did think about. Didn't verbalize it for you guys, but if I do KO the benched Crobat, then my opponent can put down a another Crobat. If I KO anything off the bench, they could put down another Crobat. It looks like my opponent instead is going to go with a Marnie play, hoping to get an energy for this Gengar V to then knock out my active. And to be honest, that's actually, if they get that, we're kind of in a weird spot. We did get the energy, so they have the VMAX, so they can actually get this KO here. And then we don't have an out here in this situation to win the game. We're going to be living off the top deck completely, and that basically has to be a Crobat at this point. I don't see us winning either way besides getting a Crobat off the top deck. So what do I even send up here? Yeah, that Marnie's doing us in right now, and we don't have any Quick Ball left, so we couldn't even top deck a Quick Ball. It would literally have to be a Crobat. This one got so close down to the wire, but now I don't see an out for us. Just send up the Moltres. I feel like has to be the play. I got dinged again. I don't see anything else. Oh, it's an Evolution Incense. I can play it. Grab myself an Eternatus VMAX. They might not be able to KO my VMAX, so if they don't have a boss in hand, I think we survive another turn here. I think it has to be my play here. Try and survive another turn. Fire Flame Wings. And we're going to retreat this to this. Shut off this so they can't maybe draw a couple more cards. Attached to my active, I think, as well. I could hold on to this for now. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it down. And then pass. And then we're still on the top deck Crobat route. Out, whatever you want to call it. We need a top deck Crobat to have a chance. There's the well played though, so I think my opponent has the boss, so could have got a cool sudden death situation. Instead, we get Marnied into a dead hand. We actually had we have 3 Crobat left. I think one was prize, like I mentioned, so that's unfortunate way to end the game, to be honest. I was looking for the sudden death route. Whether we lose or win, and then doesn't matter. Sudden death is cool to play on PTCGO. Not gonna happen in this one. We're gonna end up with a loss, but close game nonetheless there at the end. Yeah, played smart in the beginning around their early attacks, but wasn't able to close it out in the end, but still a close one. All right, maybe we can pull off a sudden death in this one. We got the coin flip win, so we will be going first. And the opening hand. All right, could open a turn to this V. We'll see what our top deck is. Maybe our opponent's gonna mulligan here as well, give us a +1 card to work with. No chance. We might burn this switch to draw the extra card. We're definitely looking for energy. We are up against a Jolteon deck. I think we're definitely going to burn a couple cards here. Looking for a Coughing would be nice. Coughing is great, and we will Crobat for 3, trying to find an energy on this first turn to hopefully set up for a turn 2 attack. We got the energy and another Crobat, so this is a great draw here. And then, yeah, getting the Coughing down early is nice as well, because we can get into the Weezing before they have like a chance to snipe it with the Jolteon. And this is one of those matchups that I was talking about where the Weezing is really great at setting up those VMAX knockouts, because Jolteon's got that 300 HP, and it's hard for us to do 300 damage with Eternatus. But we can go into Weezing for a turn, use the Severe Poison, get maybe some value out of the neutralizing gas, shutting off our opponent's abilities, access to their Drizzles and Inteleons, and really like pull away from that point on. So we can be a pretty aggressive deck still on our second turn. We are Eternatus, you know, big damage. Turn 2 is the thing that Eternatus doesn't do best, but does pretty well, or maybe does best. Turn 2, 270 is pretty good. We can KO any V Pokemon in the game, or at least any that are relevant. And then from there, we can struggle to KO VMAX, though. It's always been one of the things that Eternatus kind of struggles to do, to be honest. But with this deck comboed with Weezing, we are able to pull it off. My opponent actually discards a Jolteon V there, which is a little bit weird because we might knock out a Jolteon V this turn. Does my opponent not know what Eternatus VMAX does? We could definitely knock them out this turn. A little bit greedy, I feel like, from my opponent. And with that energy top deck looking all that much better, I actually shouldn't have grabbed... Well, I kind of wanted to grab Crobat first, and then I'm going to play this next to try and find the VMAX. We got the VMAX, and now we just need a bunch of basic Pokemon, as it does increase my odds of the Great Ball hitting a VMAX here, to be honest. And then, yeah, here comes Crobat, and we might just get some good old Eternatus things going on in this one, to be honest. And yeah, there's the concede. We didn't even have the turn 2 knockout yet, but my opponent knew it was coming. We didn't quite have it, but we're most likely gonna get it. See, yeah, my opponent really greedy with that quick ball there, and then also using the badge. And apparently they don't want to sit through a turn 2 Eternatus attack, even though I think that was still a winnable game for my opponent. We're only getting 2 prize cards. I still might have to go through 2 VMAXs to close that one out. So definitely a little bit of a premature concede there from my opponent. Would have loved to have seen them stick it out a little bit longer, and who knows where that game could have gone. Get the coin flip again. Gonna go first. And judging by their deck box, we're up against another Jolteon. Let's hope this opponent does not concede as fast as our last opponent. Hopefully. We'll see. But yeah, hopefully they don't. Yeah, we got the Coughing start, which is solid. It's not a big deal if we open the Coughing. But there's the Eternatus. We definitely would rather go down the Eternatus route. I'm gonna go ahead and attach to Eternatus. I don't even think I'm gonna play the Great Ball yet. I think I'm just gonna pass here. And we have the Galarian Mine in hand. If I didn't have the Galarian Mine in hand, then I would dig with the Great Ball to find a Crobat. But knowing we have the Galarian Mine in hand to potentially stop my opponent from, you know, sticking it past the peek and play and kind of completely limiting what we can do. Knowing that, we can kind of just play a little bit slower here, and I think we'll be okay. We can also look just for like a turn 2 Weezing attack as well. We don't have to get into a turn 2 Eternatus attack. I think I would prefer to attack with a turn 2 here, but it's definitely not the end of the world if we have to even like go with an Ascension on turn 2, completely shutting down my opponent's side of the field as far as their Drizzles go. On their second turn is pretty powerful, so just doing something like that would also get the Hiding Energy in play on the Weezing to potentially move that into an Eternatus on a future turn. So that's like another thing we'd be doing there. How many level ball? 3 level ball from my opponent. Okay, bunch of Sobbles, and then they also get that quick ball for the Jolteon, but nothing else in the hand to work with. Oh, now we got the Eternatus. It's a pretty good top deck. Let's start with this Great Ball here. Let's see what we get. Got a Moltres. Moltres is also really nice to have in play as well. Gonna throw that down. Gonna throw this down. I'm gonna hold on to the Galarian Mind here. I think I am setting up for some kind of Weezing play instead of trying to be more aggressive here. I just don't think that, I mean, that just feels like the chance of me pulling off something more aggressive is like a little bit unlikely. We did draw into it though. We got the switch. We even had the boss. We could have gone like and punched this Jolteon. Not gonna go for that though. I'm just gonna go ahead and get myself a Weezing. Start to put some damage on these Sobbles. I think was just fine. I don't really want to Marnie my opponent, because they didn't really do a whole ton on their first turn. I feel like they're probably locked in on this being their main out and stuff. So I like the hand. It's got options. Let's just go with the Severe Poison and you know, start working through these Sobbles. Keep my opponent limited. Don't let them get access to Drizzile or Inteleon anytime soon. And let's see what that does for us here. Because yeah, my opponent didn't play a draw supporter. Of course, they could have like VMAX, Energy. Maybe not Energy. They probably would have attached it last turn. They might have like VMAX, Tool Card, Research in hand. Just want to hold on to that. But it's also possible their hand is completely living off of Drizzile, which happens a lot in the Jolteon deck. And just using this Weezing early on is just going to buy us a ton of time to set everything up the way we want to and delay our opponent from making any big plays early on. They do have the Marnie, but this is still going to probably delay my opponent from actually doing anything too big here, as we're just going to keep using the Severe Poison. Evolution Incense. I mean, they could get really lucky here and get like, I mean, they could draw like Energy, Badge. They can't Zigzagoon though, so actually maybe Escape Rope, Zig. All right, that's like a lot. Hopefully they don't get that. They do have the Speed Lightning, so they're gonna get a couple more cards to work with. Let's see if it's good enough. We do have this boss in our hand though, so we can actually bring up the Jolteon and get that Severe Poison damage we're looking to get off in this matchup to slow my opponent down. We'll see what they send up after we get this knockout on the Sobble, but I might boss up that Jolteon to Severe Poison that specifically. Another Coughing to the hand, but if they send up this Jolteon, I wouldn't mind just retreating and then just KOing the Jolteon V. They go with the VMAX though, so we're gonna be able to get that damage that I talked about when we go up against these VMAXs. That's what we look to do. I don't really have to play anything as well here. I could bench the Eternatus V. I think I like that, but everything else I'm kind of content with holding. Maybe throw down one Coughing and then go with the Severe Poison, maybe another Coughing, and then actually Crobat. I like that as well though. Some cards. Definitely want to hold the boss. Definitely want to hold the Glare Mine. More out to that Path to the Peak is always nice. All right, I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive here, actually. Get some more options for these coming up turns. Could Marnie. I don't hate the Marnie here. I wouldn't mind getting an energy attachment for turn. But my opponent didn't do a whole ton on their last turn. Once again, limited by the Drizzile outs. I want to give them like badges or anything like that. So I'm just going to go with the Severe Poison. We'll have the Marnie as an option for the following turn. And once again, have a Glare Mine in the hand, which is such a big deal to just have around at all points. So just having one in the hand makes me want to hold the hand. And it's less likely I get Marnie this turn with 2 Marnies gone. And my opponent not having access to Drizzile, which means they can't just go find their Marnies when they want to. So yeah, less likely to see my opponent actually pull off you know, another Marnie this turn. And yeah, we get this poison damage on this first Jolteon. And like I said, boom, it gets them in range for that KO from the Dread End now, doing 270. And if they had a little bit more HP, we have that Zigzagoon in here as well, so they're not going to need that. There goes the Inteleon, there goes the Scoop Up Net. So my opponent's hand was live. They got that research. But yeah, once again, I didn't want to give them more cards. And there's always a chance that our hand is dead. The question is, what do I get rid of here? I'm eyeing up these Crobats as the suspects. The Coffins, I don't love the idea of keeping too many Coffins around, but let's get rid of the Crobats. Let's see how this goes. Let's get rid of the Crobats and we'll see where this goes. I do lose some Pokemon here, so maybe I could have held off on benching 1 Coffin here, because actually to get the KO on this Jolteon, we do need still like a full bench. Well, actually, if this one stays in the active, we won't need a full bench, because my opponent will take more poison damage coming into my turn and actually going out of my turn as well. So we actually won't need that much damage. But there's a Fan of Waves. We do have the Switch in the hand, though, so it was nice to keep the Switch around for that reason. Actually, if they do get the Fan of Waves, which they did get, and if they do KO this Weezing, we would need another Weezing to actually set up the next Jolteon VMAX. So keeping the Coffins around is probably correct, to be honest, because there is another Jolteon VMAX we're gonna have to get through, unless my opponent just runs away for the turn. Net back. Oh, remove the poison. Okay, this is a pretty smart play from my opponent. It is going to require us to either poison them again, or we don't have to poison them again. We could also just go with well, we got the energy switch. Maybe I should just go with poison them again, to be honest. Definitely gonna throw out the Glare Mine. I think I am gonna play the Marnie here. I do want to KO them. Maybe it's not that difficult to get the KO here. I do want to get the KO here. We could go switch. We go Marnie. Am I getting a little bit greedy with this play, though? I could have just gone with the energy switch and then poison them. And whoa, does that look like the play I should have gone with? This hand is junk. It's so bad. I'm actually gonna, we could only hit them for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can't really do a whole ton. I'm actually just gonna run away and shut down my opponent's abilities again and pass, because this hand was so bad. I can't even explain how bad this draw was. We got like nothing to work with there. And like I said, I probably, like, looking back on it, I feel like I definitely should have just gone with Severe, like, energy switch this energy up, play the Marnie still, and just go for the Severe Poison again. Because yeah, I need a decent amount of bench Pokemon. I was hoping to get an out to a Crobat, 2 Crobat, 4 Quick Ball. It's not that unlikely we find that. Here comes a Drizzy from my opponent, of course. Can't use it because of the Weezing. Here comes a Marnie. Now I liked this hand, though, so now I want this hand back. It would have been great to get an energy in play and then research another energy away and then use the Dire Flame Wings to recover it. So now I actually want that hand back because this next draw is no good. Oh no. Training Court, Glare Mine, Boss. Yeah, this hand is not good. We might even go Boss KO Sobble for turn. That might become our play, to be honest. We might go Boss KO Sobble. Remove that as an option from my opponent. Could go after the Drizzile as well. But they have more outs to Drizzile than they do the Shady Dealings in Inteleon. So to like kind of limit their options on their next turn, I might go after that Sobble next turn. Because we're not one-hit KOing the Jolteon, but I want to be one-hit KOing Jolteon. I don't want to just attack into a Jolteon. That never feels great. So we'll see what we top deck. Like I said, this hand, not great, but our top deck could be good enough. Hey, there's a research. Okay, that completely changes things. Losing 2 stadiums also changes things, though. We don't want to lose 2 stadiums like this, but I have to get rid of them. I definitely want to get this knockout on this active. Gonna throw the Trading Card in play. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. In my head, it felt better, but to be honest, I don't think it was that good of a play. I probably shouldn't have done that. All right, new hand. Take a look at it. We need a lot of bench Pokemon here. Gonna go ahead and Goon Ping. Gonna go ahead and Goon. Well, I'm gonna burn this. Take a look at the deck. Got the Weezing. We can set that up. A lot of energy left. I do want to get some energy in play here. I want to start setting up my next Eternatus or even the Weezing, to be honest, to get that poison damage off again. We don't want to overbench Pokemon here. So 260. We do need a full bench, right? I think we do need a full bench here, actually, which I don't love the idea of. I don't want to bench all this stuff because then if they get down a Path to the Peak, we're going to lose it all. Gonna hold on to the Goon, I think. And just Crobat for 4. before no energy. We did get the stadium, which is nice. We do get this KO, which is okay. Would have loved an energy though, like I was saying. Would have loved an energy for the turn. Got the stadium, which is nice. But yeah, then we're gonna go into Weezing again here on the next turn, ideally. There's another Weezing, so a couple Weezings to work with is also pretty good. And another thing that we can kind of maybe set up here, if our opponent doesn't find the path this turn, but I have a feeling my opponent's probably gonna find the path this turn. But yeah, we can go to some Weezings for a couple turns and reduce my opponent's options once again. Of course, when we do go into the Weezings, we do like to Marnie my opponent, and we don't have a Marnie in hand. We do have a lot of Marnie left in deck, so actually our odds of top decking a Marnie are pretty high. So maybe we can get lucky there and just top deck a Marnie. Yeah, our odds of top decking a Marnie are pretty high here. So we're definitely gonna be looking for that. That's gonna be hard. Like if I had to pick a top deck right here, it would be top deck Marnie. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind if my opponent Marnied me here. But here comes that path to the peak. I'm gonna get rid of Crobat, I think. Crobat for sure. Okay. And then probably gonna turn just V. The Moltres I think are a little bit better. Oh, and another one. Oh my gosh. If I want to keep one of the Moltres around. Maybe we only need one Moltres. Let's go to the other Moltres. See how this goes. And this is our last stadium. So this is the last time I'll be able to open up my bench again is when I put this in play as well. So we're running out of options there as well. But yeah, gonna go run into the Weezing, get some damage built up on this Jolteon. Once again, taking away those shady dealings options. Here comes another big shady dealings from my opponent with the Inteleon next. I wouldn't mind getting Marnied here, to be honest. We don't have any energy in hand. And we don't have our own Marnie as well. Because once our opponents had time to like sit with their hand and work with it a little bit, they're usually gonna put themselves in a spot where that hand is workable on the next turn. So whenever we Marnie our opponent and disrupt their hand, there's the fan of waves though. That's an annoying one. We do have a couple switch left, and we do have, you know, energy switch plus a hiding energy combo potentially. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be looking for here. We can see decent amount of cards though if we get our own draw supporter as well. All these cards going to the bottom deck. None of them are great. The energy switch was okay because we could on like hiding energy retreat and then E-switch the other energy off. We got the hiding energy, got some quick balls. Once again, don't love it though. I don't love the draw here. But just hiding energy active hit plus Marnie isn't terrible, and we can hope they just don't draw into the Cheryl play, to be honest. We could just go for that, and it does kind of set up for the following turn to maybe go into the Severe Poison plus Marnie, so we do have that as a line. Looks like they're eyeing up my Coffee in here as their target, and I think I'm definitely fine with them pinging my Coffee in here. But yeah, I think I'm gonna attach a hiding energy active and just go for a swing at the very least. Quick ball with a quick ball, and then go get ourselves nothing. Probably something to throw on the bottom of the deck, to be honest. And if we do draw into the energy switch plus the severe poison combo, I will go for it. But if we don't, I think just hitting the active, force them to have that Marnie on the next turn is going to be our line here. Coming down to the wire again in this one. Oh, there's the E switch off the top, so we can do this play before we do anything else now. E switch. Yep. And quick ball. I'm gonna grab something that's useless here that I'd want on the. I'll put the Goon on the bottom. Have more outs to the Crobat combo if we get the stadium as well. And now we get to do the Marnie severe poison combo. And it isn't foolproof, definitely. Oh, we got the Galarian Mine, which is great. How many stadium are they down? Probably gonna have to hold on to this though. Gonna go ahead and swing with severe poison. So this is the combo. We severe poison the VMAX. They get poisoned, and now they have to deal with not just being poisoned and getting that set up to be able to get the knockout with our Eternatus. Actually, in this situation, we need to like come back into us and do 40 more damage, to be honest, because we just don't have enough basic Pokemon left. Yeah, a lot of Path to the Peaks back and forth. Maybe I could have played my basic Pokemon down a little bit slower. I wasn't really thinking about that interaction, to be honest. The interaction of, oh, well, if we put down our basic Pokemon too fast, well, then our opponent gets to get rid of him with Path to the Peak and so on. But we shut down, the big thing is we shut down Drizzle. We shut down Shady Dealings. We shut down Quick Shooting. We take that away from our opponent Crobat if they play that as well. Of course, Jolteon doesn't really play that, but you know, if my opponent did, we would take that away from my opponent as well. And leave them in a very limited situation where now we've set up the VMAX for the knockout, and they just lose all their abilities for the turn. They don't have any abilities for the turn. We take that away from them, and my opponent does not have a Marnie here, so we get to keep this hand. We might go aggressive and try and KO this Jolteon that they've now put in play, to be honest. I think that is probably going to be our route, irrelevant of what else happens, unless they leave this in the active for a turn. And if they do, then we can just look for a switch and try and KO this. So we take 40 more into our turn and 40 more out of our turn, so it'll be 120 damage total. So we only need to come up with what, 180, which would be, we need like 7 Pokemon, and we have a Goon and a Crobat left, so that'll be our last 2 Pokemon, and that would actually get us the KO on this. So if they leave this in the active, I have a feeling they probably won't do that. I mean, I know it's dangerous for them to do that. I think they're probably, oh my gosh, but they retreat to the Jolteon actually. So now we just need a switch and just the Goon, but we'll probably get both out of here. Okay, so we're just gonna go for the knockout here. I think my opponent, definitely a mistake with that send up. Of course, we do need the switch. I'm gonna play that first. We're gonna play another Great Ball because we need the Goon and the Crobat. Quick Ball, a Dark Energy. Gonna go ahead and grab the Crobat. Yeah, maybe they thought that 20 damage would be relevant. I don't know. It could be relevant, I guess. It doesn't seem like it would be ridiculously relevant, but I could be wrong on that. Goon Ping. Well, if this thing's gonna get knocked out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anyways, maybe I could ping this one instead. So this one is then in range. If we get to poison it again, then we could poison this one if we whiff. I don't hate the idea of that. I feel like my opponent has to have a boss at this point. So I'm going to ping this one. I don't know if it makes too much of a difference, to be honest. We can do that. Gonna remember to go ahead and die Flame Wings at the end. Look for a switch here. If we get the switch, we get the knockout, we get the win. We got a research with 2 switch left. Pretty good odds to see one here with only 10 cards left in the deck. So we're gonna go ahead and research. And they're both the switch. And we're gonna get this knockout on this Jolteon to close this one out. Yeah, I don't love the Jolteon setup there for my opponent. Of course, they don't know what I've got left. Maybe they thought my hand was a little bit more dead than it actually was. I was thinking of something like the Goon or something. They might have been a little bit better off. But that is definitely how it works with the Weezing, exactly as we intended to be used there in that one. And yeah, Eternatus feels way better than I thought it would, to be honest. I'm really impressed after playing with it on the stream, like I mentioned the other day. Really impressed with how it flows and how it functions. And really, its matchup spread overall. The Mew matchup, of course, is a great matchup as well. But yeah, loving the Eternatus VMAX. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, if you did, give it a like. If you enjoyed the content and you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.